Welcome to this special edition of the Nevis Newscast. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Can you believe it? It's been 100 days since the Nevis Island administration, led by the Honorable Mark Brantley, took office and has been governing the affairs of the island. Tonight we take you on that stroll down memory lane, looking at expectations, hopes, commitments and accomplishments that were made over the last 3.5 months. We invite you to take the journey with us. December was a month to remember. The Concerned Citizens Movement CCM was returned to office in a 4-1 victory over the Nevis Reformation Party NRP in the December 18, 2017 Nevis Island Assembly elections. The Honorable Mark Brantley and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who won their seats in St. John's and St. James's respectively, were joined by the new constituency representative for St. Paul's, the Honorable Spencer Brand, and the new constituency representative for St. George's, the Honorable Eric Evelyn. Incumbent, the Honorable Joseph Parry, retained the lone seat won by the Nevis Reformation Party, St. Thomas's. Supervisor of Elections Elvin Bailey announced the preliminary results at about 2 a.m. on December 19th, and the celebrations continued throughout the day, which was declared a public holiday. Following an island-wide motorcade, the evening of December 19, 2017, saw the Honorable Mark Brantley being sworn in as Premier of Nevis. In a ceremony held at the High Court in Charlestown, Mr. Brantley took the oath of allegiance and the oath of office administered by resident Judge the Honorable Perletta Lands. Mr. Brantley was then appointed Premier of Nevis by Acting Deputy Governor General, Her Honor Marjorie Morton. 5 days later, on Christmas Eve, December 24, 2017, a new Nevis Island administration was sworn in during a grand ceremony at the ETW Park. Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley and his cabinet of ministers took the oaths of office, allegiance and secrecy administered by resident Judge the Honorable Perletta Lands, and were presented with their instruments of appointment by Governor General His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton.
I, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis, and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Premier and Minister of Finance, Statistics, Economic Planning, Education, Library Services, Human Resources, Industry, Trade and Consumer Affairs, Health, Tourism and Information Technology, Public Utilities and Energy, and Foreign Investment, and do right to all manner of people, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Alexis Allison Jeffers, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis, and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Deputy Premier, and Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Housing, Cooperatives and Fisheries,
cooperatives and fisheries,
natural resources,
and
disaster management,
and
do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Eric Rohan Evelyn, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis, and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Minister of Culture, Youth, Sports, Community Development, Telecommunications and Information, and do right to all manner of people, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Spencer Rudolph Brand, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis, and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Minister of Labor, Public Works, Physical Planning, Posts and the Environment, and do right to all manner of people, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Troy Liebert, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis,
the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis,
and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Junior Minister in the Premier's Ministry, with responsibility for education, library services, and information technology, and do right to all manner of people, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. I, Hazel Brandy Williams, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis,
and preserve the Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis,
and the law,
that
I will conscientiously,
impartially,
and to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as Junior Minister in the Premier's Ministry, with responsibility for health and gender affairs, and do right to all manner of people,
and do right to all manner of people
without fear or favor,
without fear or favor,
affection or ill will. So help me God.
So help me God.
In his address to the scores of Kittians and Inivisians who attended the ceremony, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley outlined his cabinet's plans to advance Nevis.
We must, in the next 5 years, advance our economy. We must ensure that our youths and our people generally are empowered so that they can seize the commanding heights in their own country. We must usher into being a kinder, gentler Nevis, where we once again become our brother's keeper and our sister's helper. We must ensure that we take care of our sick, our infirm, our persons living with disabilities. Our elderly must continue to enjoy the pride of place in our island, for we stand on the rock that they have built. We must confront crime and criminality in high and low places. We must ensure that no one is above the law and that the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary are at all times respected. We must insist that our government functions in a more transparent manner and that the necessary checks and balances are in place to ensure that this government works for you and not for its members. To this end, we shall in short order operationalize integrity in public life legislation and pass freedom of information legislation to ensure that those whom we have elected to serve remember and remain true to their purpose and their oaths. We must listen and provide the necessary fora where our people can speak to us often. The Nevis Island Assembly must function as it is intended to, and we shall have meetings there at least once every 2 months as we roll out our legislative agenda. We look forward, ladies and gentlemen, to a lasting and close relationship with the church. There is no lasting development without Christ, and our churches must be asked to keep us in constant prayer and to place our island and her leadership before God without ceasing. We promise a new Nevis, where our families, communities, our churches, and our government can all sing the same hymn from the same pew and work collectively to build a better Nevis for all. We must continue on our path of unity with St. Kitts. Nevis, ladies and gentlemen, must continue the bold thrust to have historic Charlestown inscribed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. We are making steady progress in this regard, and I thank His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Everson Hull, who has led this charge with passion and aplomb. We must continue to develop education, including vocational training for the development of our people. An educated population is a prerequisite for lasting socio-economic development. Our healthcare sector requires serious work as we expand our Alexandra Hospital, digitize our health records, and move to universal health insurance in 2018.
The Nevis Island Administration Cabinet of Ministers met for the first time on December 28th. Having called the meeting to order, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley took the opportunity to formally welcome his colleagues.
I am delighted to be able to have the opportunity to lead as Premier, and I want to continue our pledge to the people of Nevis that we will do right by them and we will ensure that our decisions are just and that we take into account the interests and the needs of all the people of Nevis. That is our pledge as a new government, and I believe that our people will hold us accountable in terms of our delivery on that pledge. There's much work to do. The fact that we have not waited until after the holiday season but have convened this year, we recognize that we have to hit the ground running, and that is exactly what we intend to do. So we welcome everyone, and I say it's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege for all of us. When we think about it, it's an awesome responsibility. Around this table, we have 4 elected members, 2 nominated members, that's 6, a legal advisor and a cabinet secretary, 8 people out of a population of over 13,000 who really are the ones charged with taking decisions for the rest of us. And I think that ought to put it in perspective in terms of the awesome responsibility that we have and our need at all times to ensure that the interests of our people are put first.
Stay tuned to Nevis Television as we continue this special edition of the Nevis Newscast. We dive into 2018 when we come back.